Hi all, so in this video let us see about the drying and the principles and the theory of drying. So this is also one of the post harvest operation or technology that we apply to any form of food material. In why this drying is being considered as the main important one is the main principle is nothing but due to the removal of the moisture content to a safe level by the application of heat. So what happens is dehydration will refer to the removal of moisture until it is bone dry. So that is a differentiation between a drying and a dehydration. So in order to maintain the quality of the grains during storage, to prevent them from the growth of bacteria, fungi and the development of some infestation, for this purpose only the drying is being done. So what happens during drying is the heat is supplied by either heated air naturally or artificially. So what happens due to that is the vapor pressure or the concentration gradient in the food material that causes the movement of moisture from inside of the kernel to the surface. So at last, due to that principle, the moisture will get evaporated. So the drying capacity of the air mainly depends on air temperature, moisture content of grain, type of grain, relative humidity of the drying air. So these are the factors through which the drying capacity depends. And the safe temperature for drying any paddy is the 45 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius for wheat. An excessive high temperature, if we expose drying, it will cause both the physical and chemical damages in the grains. So the main importance behind drying is it will allow to store the food material for a longer time without spoilage, and it will also help to make sure that that particular food material is available continuously throughout the year as a continuous supply, so without any shortage. And also it permits early harvest, which will reduce the field damage and shattering losses. It will also allow the farmers to have a better quality product, and of course it will make the products even available during the off seasons. So the theory behind drying is nothing but the convection process. So it is nothing but in which the moisture from a product is removed. So the water content in the particular any agriculture produce is given in terms of moisture content only. That is, the water content is being expressed as moisture content. So they either gain or lose the moisture as per the atmospheric conditions only. So the moisture migrations, obviously it will take place in a product on the difference. In what difference is that between the vapor pressure and between the atmosphere of the product. So what they conclude is that if in case the vapor pressure of the grain is greater than the atmospheric vapor pressure, then what will happen is transfer of the moisture from the grain to the atmosphere will takes place. So the same thing, when the atmospheric pressure is greater than the grain vapor pressure, it will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. So this is the vice versa process. So in drying rate, in theory, we are considering or dividing into three rate periods. One is the constant rate period, first falling rate period and a second falling rate period. So first one is a constant rate period, that is nothing but the moisture migration rate from the inside of the product to its surface, that is equal to the rate of the evaporation of water from the surface. So this critical period will continue until the critical moisture content is being reached. So the critical moisture content is nothing but when the moisture content in a product where it becomes constant, that is it will attain a constant rate drying, and where the falling rate will start. That is the point where we call it as a critical moisture content. So this period, this constant rate period is a very shorter period for agriculture products. So drying of sand or any washed seeds can take place in the constant rate period. And next is a falling rate period. So most of the agriculture products are dried in falling rate period. So movement and the diffusion of moisture in interior of the grains will control the entire drying process. So it is mainly controlled by migration of moisture from interior of grains to upper surface due to water vapor diffusion and removal of moisture from the surface. This is mainly divided into two periods, first falling rate period and a second falling rate period. So first falling rate period is nothing but the unsaturated surface drying, that is drying rate will decrease because of the decrease in the wet surface area. So fraction of the wet surface will decrease to 0 when the first falling rate ends. So next the second falling rate, the subsurface evaporation only will takes place until the EQM has been reached. So this is the mechanism of drying where they have given what happens during the capillary flow, liquid diffusion, surface diffusion, vapor diffusion, thermal and hydrodynamic flow. So thank you.